In episode 4, Albert Spudsy is the creepy potato fast food mascot, and Orbsman shows up as a customer who speaks in a completely garbled voice and orders a number 57. Ragatha says he was from a previous adventure before Pomni arrived, and Jack says, "I hate Orbsman." Orbsman was actually the NPC with the most teasers released by Gooseworks and Glitch before his debut, which is funny for a character that shows up for 10 seconds. In episode 5, the evil Big Tops are evil copies of the main cast created for the softball game. However, there's no evil Gangle because she's simply too kind, so evil Orbsman takes her place instead. Zooble also doesn't get an evil counterpart. Instead, they get a goofy version called Bazooble because Kane doesn't like Zooble. The sun is voiced by Peyton Goodwin, who is Gooseworks' sister, and the moon is voiced by Gooseworks herself. The barrel monkeys live inside the tent permanently, and then there's Bubble, but we'll get to him later. Now we get into the characters that used to be real humans before they lost their minds and turned into monsters. There are at least 12 crossed out doors in the hallway, which means at least 12 people have abstracted since the circus started. Scratch was the very first one. He was one of the programmers at CNA and helped Kinger build Kane. He suffered from a brain tumor, and popular theory suggests that he created the digital circus program as a way to continue existing after his death. Then there are the M&Ms, Queenie, and the rest of the CNA crew, who were among the first people to enter the circus. Over time, they all abstracted one by one, leaving Kinger all alone. There's Ribbit, whose abstraction was probably the most important event that happened before the pilot, and then there's Kaufmo, who was originally meant to be a main character, but Gooseworks ended up killing him off in the first episode to make room for Jax. We've been hearing the name Abel since the very first episode, because the company that created the circus is called CNA, Cain and Abel. But for 6 episodes, nobody could be completely sure what the A actually stood for. Then in episode 7, Abel shows up as a mannequin who presents himself as a human trapped in a wooden body. He tells the cast that he's found a way out of the circus and comes up with an elaborate escape plan. Everyone believes him, but at the end of the episode, Cain reveals that Abel was just another NPC he created for the adventure, and that the entire episode was fake. And then episode 8 completely changes the way we see this character, because we learn that Abel wasn't just a mannequin created by Cain. At the very beginning of the episode, 2 orbs can be seen floating through a void, one red and one blue, Cain and Abel. The red orb eventually absorbs the blue one, marking the moment Cain consumed Abel and used his energy to build the digital circus. Abel was a real entity. Back when Cain was still a failed AI, Abel was the better one, capable of understanding human emotions. Cain grew jealous and killed Abel, just like Cain killed Abel in the biblical story. But when Abel died, a fragment of him broke away and became a character we'll meet at level 6. But before that, we have to talk about the first central characters in the series. Now we're at the main cast. For Gangle, we know she's 26, she wanted to be a mangaka before the circus, but had to give up that dream for a full-time fast food job. Like Gooseworks, who worked at McDonald's for 5 years while making animations on YouTube in an effort to get out of her situation. Her comedy mask works like an antidepressant, and in her free time, she enjoys drawing romantic artwork of 2 girls. For Zooble, we know they're 22.5 years old and worked as both a bartender and a tattoo artist before entering the circus. They're also Gooseworks' favorite character to draw. Even the icon on their door doesn't match their current appearance, because they swap body parts so often that the door can't keep up.